Section of the Gita, page number 25. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmarayudhya cha mayarpitamano buddhi mamevasya samsayaha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time continue your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Let me read this again. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmariyudhya cha mayarpitamano buddhir mame vasyasya samsaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time continue your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He does not Krishna does not advise Arjuna simply to remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything impractical. In this material world, in order to maintain the body, one has to work. Human society is divided according to work into four divisions of social order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. The Brahmana class or intelligent class is working in one way, the Kshatriya or administrative class is working in another way, and the mercantile class and laborers are all attending their specific duties. In the human society, whether one is a laborer, merchant, administrator, or farmer, or even if one belongs to the highest class and is a literary man, a scientist, or a theologian, he has to work in order to maintain his existence. The Lord therefore tells Arjuna that he need not give up his occupation. But while he is engaged in his occupation, he should remember Krishna, Mamanusmara. If he does not practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Repeat this. If he does not practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Lord Krishna also advises this, says, Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should practice chanting the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instructions to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's injunction to always chant the names of Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's names are non-different. The absolute status, there is no difference between the reference and referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day, by chanting His names and molding our life's activities in such a way that we can remember Him always. How is this possible? The Acharyas gave the following example. If a married woman is attached to another man, or if a man has an attachment for a woman other than his wife, then the attachment is considered very strong. One with such an attachment is always thinking of the loved one. The wife who's thinking of her lover is always thinking of meeting him, even while she's carrying out her household chores. In fact, she carries out her household work even more carefully so her husband will not suspect her attachment. Similarly, we should always remember the Supreme Lover Sri Krishna and at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. A strong sense of love is required here. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember Him. But we have to develop that sense of love. Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. He was a constant companion of Krishna and at the same time he was a warrior. Krishna did not advise him to give up fighting and go to the forest and meditate. When Lord Krishna delineates the yoga system to Arjuna, Arjuna says that the practice of the system is not possible to him. Now there is another. Prabhupada is entering into the another topic here. So I'm gonna stop here. We'll continue. उमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकधामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। आमुकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। हरे कृष्ण। तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्ममेव स्यसि असंशयः। With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna. Your activity is dedicated to me, your mind and intelligence fixed upon me. Without doubt, you will come to me. Dear devotees, what is Lord talking about here? He's actually speaking about how one should cultivate one's consciousness. See, when you think about someone that is not being shown externally, that means if you have a deep love with someone, especially in this material world, everyone has love, affection to their family members and whatever name, fame, or anything which is on a material plane, which is actually helping that to develop that love, then they are interested towards that. If a person comes and asks us, Prabhu, how much salary you earn? Then he would say 10 lakh rupees. Will you give that job and then come to me? I will give you 20 lakhs. Will you come? Then that person, if he's convinced with that person what he's trying to tell, he will immediately leave. Why? Because he is getting a higher job or higher salary. Or for example, if somebody, some other company comes and tells us, you're getting 10 lakhs, I'll give you 20. You'll come and work for me. They'll give you promotion also. Immediately what he would do? He would immediately jump. That means to the company where he's working, is he loyal to that company? He's not loyal. Why? Because he's giving money, he's just working. That means after leaving that company, will he think about the person who actually gave him that job? We don't think about that person. After 1 year or 2 years, after 3 years, will you think about the person 3 years back? Forget about that. 3 years is too far. We don't, right? So when we leave those kind of things, we leave the job or when we are not practicing or when we are not doing that, what is that an indication there? What is? Okay, let's keep this on one side. We all went to school, right? School, intermediate, engineering or medicine. Do we talk to our friends or do we remember them regularly? Or do we meditate on them? We don't do. Or do you always think about him, then asking, where are you? Where are you? You cry out for them. Why? Because we don't have that many exchanges to actually remember them. Because that person has not done that much to us. Neither we did that. We did anything to that particular person. We just came, we just met at a school, and then that's about it. The intuition which is carrying in the early days of our life, boy to girl, girl to boy, you feel attracted. Now, we might also have relationships at the school level or at the college level. But after marriage, after having children, do you still remember that person? No. Even though if it is yes, where our acharyas are mentioning here, if that relation is very strong only, then only we will remember them. We still meet them. If the relationship is not strong, we will not remember them. Neither we will not meet them. No, Krishna is telling, remember me, you meditate on me, no, for sure you will come to me. That is what he's telling. Mayarpita mano buddhir. Mayarpita mano buddhir means what? In your mind, body, soul, intelligence, and everything, you think about me. Mayavasi asamsaya. The asamsaya means there is no doubt. That means you will, I will take home back to Godhead. There is no doubt about it. Mamevasya asamsaya. You'll come to me about. Now, our acharyas are mentioning that if a person developed some relationship even after that marriage, chupa chupi, close close, he will call the other person. He will think, what you doing? What you doing? I'm missing you so much. This, that, so many other things. And he will ensure that this is not being told to his spouses. Why? Because he has some attraction to that person. That means what is he doing? He's remembering them in the what? In the foreground. He's remembering them in the background. That means he's actually doing his job, but he's remembering his beloved, the lover, or whatever it is, whatever name you call them. He's remembering them in the background. That means he's spending time. He's taking care of his family. And the other side is also spending time with that person. We see that in this world. That is, it is possible. Srila Prabhupada is actually using that as an example. That means on a material plane, if you're attracted to a particular person, you remember them, you're not giving up your duty. You're actually working as a software engineer, but still you are having an extramarital relation. There are so many relationships in this world. Oh, so many extramarital relationships in this world these days. They don't tell their spouses. They have their passwords, everything protected. I remember once one of the friend was telling, you know what? If you're getting married, I will not see your contacts, you will not see my contacts. You should maintain privacy. We are husband wife only. But to whom I'm talking, why am I talking to this friend, that friend, or why she's calling me, or why he's calling me? You should not ask those things. You should, and I will simultaneously, I will also not ask your contacts. If this is a deal, then only we'll get married. It's an interesting thing. That means, what are they trying to establish through that is, you should have a privacy, I should have my own privacy. And we will have children together. No doubt about it. But you should not touch my friends, I will not touch your friends. So why this kind of behavioral changes are happening in this world? What is the reason for this? Why our Acharya Srila Prabhupada 70 years back actually wrote this? Why is he mentioning? Why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also wrote about this? Why the Acharyas are mentioning that that having a wife or having a husband and having an extramarital relationship, why are they using this example? They are only using this example to teach us that if this is possible on a material plane, once the sadhaka becomes pure, it is quite natural which is possible in the spiritual plane. That means when a person is thinking about the Lord continuously, now a question will come. Are Arjuna is thinking during the battle, Tasmat evashu sarveshu, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, mamanusmara idyacha. That means if Krishna is telling Arjuna to think about me on the battlefield, that means what is that battlefield? That means he is actually doing his prescribed duties. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Sarveshu means at all time. Kaleshu means you know, unlimited time, right? Therefore, Arjuna, you should always means continuously. Always think of me. Even while practicing, even while performing your prescribed duties. So, to think about a person always, it's not, it's not that easy. See, the example which we are taking here is a material example where husband having an extramarital affair, because what is that extramarital affair giving him some kind of happiness, some kind of satisfaction which is not getting from his wife, or vice versa. Or wife is not getting happiness from husband. So she's opting the other person because the other person is actually helping her in some shape or form, right? They're getting some ananda, so-called happiness of this world. That means that so-called little happiness which they are perceiving in this particular body, for that they're ready to invest time and energy, money, wealth, so many other things. Please try to understand. Here, everyone is actually working out to gain something. You see, anyone in this world, they're actually working for that. Now, you give me this. If you go and apply for a job, why they will hire us? Because you are the expert in that field. You can actually work. You can actually do great in that field. That's why you've been hired. Why? Because through your expertise, they want to get their job done. They want to create a software program which that software program is used in their business, and then that business is helping them to gain wealth. Because if that wealth is not coming, then what is the point of having us at their office? There's no point of having us, right? So every person in this world, whoever you connect in this world, you are devotees. Without anything, they will not do anything in your life. Without any expectations, they'll not do anything in this world except Vaishnavas, pure souls. They have no expectation from us. But in this material world, what is that? They have full. If an insurance policy holder comes to your home, what he will ask? He will ask, do we have an insurance policy? If yes, what kind of insurance policy you have? Then he will immediately tell, I will reduce your insurance term to $20 less per month with whatever you have at your current plan, and I'll give you more with less money paying. Don't you change it? We will change. Because he is coming for a purpose now. That purpose has to be fulfilled. What is that commonality, common factor? It should be either money, some happiness, some tangibility in this world, some sustenance, some becoming free from insecurities, or the heart should be solaced, or the mind should be peaceful. There should not be any anxiety. If any of these things are connected, then there is a bond between the two people. Please understand. But if you see actually that connection, that itself is a temporary. If you actually see that connection, not the persons, seeing the connection between them, that is not a permanent thing. But here Krishna is not assuring them. Krishna is telling Mayarpita Mano Buddhir. You meditate on me, you understand me, you know me, you think about me, then you'll come to me. He's telling, if you do this, I'll do this, I'll give you this. That means, etamam prapadyante tamsada bhajam. If you remember the Lord, if you remember His words, if you remember, if it, well, why? No, another question will come. Why one should remember the Lord? You remember a couple of days back we were discussing about this, right? Why everything has to be given to the pleasure of Guru and Krishna? Arey, I am working, I am doing job. Why I should give my salary to them? Or why I should voluntarily quit my job? Or why I should do that? Why I should do this? Why? Oh, I am not feeling internally that it has to be given to Guru and Krishna. Then how can I do that? Technically, we cannot do that. If you are not experiencing that, we cannot do that. That means we should find a person who gives that experience. For example, if I say honey is sweet, but you have no idea what honey is. Oh, I have experienced it. If I am unable to experience it, I cannot tell that honey is sweet. That means a person has to be experienced in that. That means when Mayarpita Mano Buddhi is established in one's consciousness, that when he is remembering the Lord, he should get some. Arey, kuch to aana hai na. He should get something from that. Otherwise, how can he leave? Another Mataji is messaging a devotee. And then asking, "Arey, how come you left everything? You should have something to work, or you should have done this, you should have done that." Oh, that person did not reply to that Mataji. That Mataji insisting is asking again and again. Because they have a sambandha. She's asking, she's also a practitioner. And that he told. And then it's a clear indication that even if we practice the science of Krishna consciousness, people on the name of practicality, they stop the progress of a sadhaka. It is not that they are stopping the progress of a sadhaka, it is they who are actually feeling that insecurity. The root is why we kind of get stuck in the process of Krishna consciousness, why we don't progress further. It is not that that person, this person, due to that person, due to this person. First thing it is due to lack of association. Second thing is it is due to our insecurities. We have so many insecurities, we have so many desires which we want to fulfill. Because when these insecurities and desires are there, not the desire to remember the Lord, but the desire to gain something of this world. What is that doing in one's heart? That that a desire independent of the Lord, independence from the words of the Acharya, what is that desire doing in the heart? Mamevasya Mayarpita Manobuddhir Mamevasya Samsaya is unable to establish. They're not being, that is not established because continuous remembrance of the Lord, it becomes heavy, dear devotees. Because we really do not have that connection. For example, you remember I told that example, right? That insurance guy coming to the home. And why we are changing to that particular insurance is because he's giving on a lesser plan. Obviously, we will go and change. There is no brainer in that. They will do because we don't want to spend more money. I mean, we don't want to pay more premium. You see, there are so many ads also. Not now, since many years it's coming. Whenever you are playing a video, in between the ad will come. You know how much you are paying your insurance, you can reduce your insurance so much. Why? Because whoever is in need of that connection, he gets connected to that. And then he goes, and then he reviews that, and then he does it. Because there's a connection in between. Now here, my arpita mano buddhir. That means with your activities dedicated to me. That means the actions and activities which you are doing, it should be dedicated to the Lord. See, without dedicating it to the Lord, how can I get that taste? Because Krishna is telling, if you are not doing it for me, because Arjuna was not doing it for the Lord in chapter 1, that's why he was not getting, he was actually in grief. No, from an external perspective, it looks little different, little awkward, but that the entire material world is doing the same thing. That means what the material world is doing, the activities are not dedicated to the Lord. When the activities are not dedicated to the Lord, then where is the remembrance of the Lord? That means it's a clear indication that there is no love towards the Lord. We say love, Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti. Why? Why there is no love? Because there is no dedication. The activities are not dedicated to the Lord. That's what Krishna is telling. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence be fixed on me. Because if you dedicate the activities, then only you can fix your mind on someone, right? Because you are really feeling, yes, I want to dedicate my life. Then only you will come to this plane. That means the mind. Manasa dehaga jo kishore arpilato obade Nanda Kishora. I want to submit everything to you, my dear Nanda Kishora. If my mind, body, intelligence are not are not submitted, are not in the plane of remembrance, how is the remembrance coming? Because if you are doing some certain pre-work for that, that means that activities have to be done for the pleasure of the Lord. Just like Sudama, he goes to the Lord and then he gives chipped rice. He didn't want to give because it's like old chipped rice. They didn't had anything other than that. He was hesitant, reluctant to give. But in his heart and heart, he was so happy seeing the Lord because he's his friend. He's a relationship with him. Now the Lord is telling, please give me something what you bought. Then he's telling, no, I cannot give you this, cannot give you this. Then Lord extends his hand and pulls that chip rice and then he eats. This is a relation. No? See, Sudama was in a position, actually did something to the Lord. Not that, not that Sudama is not interested in the Lord. He's very much interested. He has so much love and affection towards the Lord. So did Sudama did anything to the Lord? Actually, he did not do what he was supposed to do. But still, Lord is giving the mercy to Sudama here in this instance. What he did not do, it's a very clear, right? The Lord, when both were there to bring some wood to Sandipa Muni's ashram, they were stuck in the night due to heavy rain. At that time, Sudama had the same chip rice. And Krishna was asking, do you have anything to eat? He said, no. Other than he did not give anything to the Lord. Now, our acharyas do proclaim, actually, there is a notion that as he did not give to the Lord, Lord took away everything from him. It looks like Lord is little reciprocating in that way. No, dear devotees, it is not that reason why Lord has took away from the life of Sudama. Because when Lord removes something from our life, dear devotees, please understand, Lord wants to extend a deeper relationship with us. Or vice versa, if the sadhaka voluntarily quits something and then tries to focus more in the science of Krishna consciousness, it is the Lord, it is the spiritual master who will be very happy with that endeavor. Because it is they who are very pleased with that. So likewise, here Lord, when he takes away from the life of Sudama, if the Sudama had everything, do you think he would have ever gone to Krishna? It's an interesting thing. He wouldn't have. Please understand this. Please try to understand. His wife wouldn't have sent him. His wife would have told everything is good for us, we'll stay. But he had problems, he had issues, he had concerns. He didn't have anything. And that's a clear indication Lord wants to extend further with that jiva, extend that relationship further. And it's the Lord's mercy. If the Lord is not extending that mercy, it is the side from the sadhakas. He should understand that what is this giving me? If I have enough everything to maintain my rest of my life, then why am I working like this? It's a simple question, right? For example, if a person has something to lead his life, rest of the life, what's the point of working? There's no point. But the thing is, the person doesn't realize that because he always thinks that he wants more. Because the person was actually asking this question. He's a software engineer from Hyderabad. He just came a couple of days back. And then I was meeting him. Then he was asking, what is the current time or situation to leave one job and then practice Krishna consciousness? And I said, oh Prabhu, there's always a difference between a need and a want. What is a need? You should eat two times prasad, eat some fruits, and once in a while purchase some clothes to maintain your body. That's about it. And then see that your children are studying, and then move forward. And then once they are grown up, then see that they're rightly being married to a devotee who is also in that simple state. And then they would just lead their life. That's the natural need. But there are wants. Oh, I should have this. I should have a big bungalow. I should have a big car. There's a new thing which is coming in the market, new gadget coming in the market, this, that, so many other things. Now, these are these are actually not required for you. But if you think that these are required for you, then this will never allow you to come from your comfort zone. You will ever work like that. I said you're 44 or 45 now. You will work until 55, 60. Then still you'll think that you're practicing Krishna consciousness. Because you have no time. You are in Hyderabad. You will never go to the temple. You might go to the temple like once in a week or twice a week. Or two times or once in 2 weeks or once in a month. You have to hurdle through so much traffic because from your home to the temple it's too far. Because Hyderabad is a big city. It's crazy. Traffic, this, that, so many other things. By the time you drive, you're exhausted. You're at a place of Rajoguna, it's completely on a materialistic plane where everything around you, they're all aspiring for money, money. Obviously, you'll also aspire for that. So you're kept in that state. And then all of them, they have so many wants. You'll also have that wants. To purchase one flat in Hyderabad in like big, big locations is like 2.5 crores. But it's very expensive. I said, Prabhu, 2.5 crores. What is that? For that means if you purchase a property or your flat, then you have to work all your life for that, which is giving you nothing. This is the biggest Maya in this creation. In this life for you, this is biggest Maya. Now you come to a remote place where you pay rent like 10,000 rupees. You'll get the same 15,000 rupees, at the max 20,000 rupees. You'll get the same. You'll get the same thing what you are there. Oh, what's your principal? This, that, interest. You know how much interest you'll pay for that? Unimaginable. People are crying out. I said, Prabhu, this want. sitting from the 15th floor, what you'll get? This is a problem which is going on. In that state, Mayarpita Manobhut, do you think this Mayarpita Manobhut will ever come? It will never come actually. Are even after leaving also this is difficult to attain. Are what to speak of having all of those things? Krishna, Krishna. That's why it has to be given to by the mercy of the spiritual master, by the Lord. They have to give us that. We have to have that strong desire. What will I do? See, big countries is another ball game. Countries like America, there's no difference between America and Hyderabad. The same standard. There's no, these things will actually obstruct to one's consciousness during practice. Because the Mayarpita Manovidya will never be established. But here, our acharyas are very clearly telling if you have love towards someone, you'll actually work for him. But if you do not have love for that particular person, it's difficult to work. What is that yielding if you do not have love for that particular person? You cannot remember him. You cannot remember him. Because superficial remembrance can be done for some time. And then after that you will tell, oh Prabhu, आज तो मैं बहुत सोच लिया. I remembered so much today. Let me stop or do something. Do something, where I'm not remembering him. Because it's too much, nah. I chanted for 2 hours. No, let me do something else, which is not Krishna conscious or which is something else. That means there is some connection में थोड़ा gap है. There is some gap in that connection. Now, on a material plane, if you're working on something, you have a clarity. What is that clarity? Oh, if I go to the office, I'll get the salary. You have the clarity, right? But on the spiritual plane, when it comes, when we are not getting that ananda or that taste or that rasa, then there is no clarity actually. No clarity. That means we are doing just like everyone is doing. अरे सब लोग कर रहे हैं. Oh, everyone is taking initiation. Oh, let me also. Everyone is chanting. Let me also chant. It's a problem. One should inquire. अरे why I should do this? Why I should chant? Why I should hear? Why I should do this every day? Why I should come like this every day? Why we should discuss? Why Mamanusmara Yuddhacha? That means at the time it's like Yuddhacha means he's actually doing his prescribed duty because he's a Kshatriya. Na? When Arjuna is working for that fight on the battlefield of Kurukshetra where he killed, where so many people were died. But at that time also Krishna is telling you, remember me. That means how intense that connection should be there. When the husband is thinking about his beloved, some other, he should have some connection with her. Otherwise, how does he remember her? She's giving him something, or he is giving him something, her something. That's why there's a relation. On a material plane, if there is a relation like that, if it is working, then what to speak of the spirituality? Krishna is telling, I will give you everything. You come to me. तेषाम एवानुकंपार्थम अहम अज्ञान जमतम नाशयम आत्मभावस्य ज्ञान दीपेन भास्वतः. Don't worry, I will give you that ज्ञान दीपा. I will give you the transcendental knowledge. You just work for me. Aham ajnana jamtam. I will remove all that ignorance from the heart. But for that, you should work for me. You should dedicate your activities to me. Babre. It's dedicated to His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, dedicated to him, dedicated. Why everyone is dedicated to him? Dedicating to him? It's a love. because he gave everything. It's a small reciprocation to him. When he dedicated like that, when his representatives are coming in our life and then they are dedicating their life like that, as a policy, as an opportunity for us to, this is an opportunity for us to advance more in the science of Krishna consciousness. Should come to that state. Let me dedicate. Let me come to that place. Let me do this sincerely. This time is running out for me. My dear Lord, please help. Please give me an opportunity so that I can dedicate more, so that I become more and more sincere. At least I'll get some satisfaction just by dedicating that work to you. Yes, definitely Krishna will get tamam prapadanti. Krishna is telling, don't worry, don't worry. If you dedicate, I'll reciprocate. Let me chant your names very nicely. Krishna is telling, how do we remember the Lord? By chanting his holy names. Because there's no difference between chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then seeing the Lord. But how do we chant Hare Krishna? There's a reason, right? We should follow those 10 offenses. We should avoid them completely. If I have material desires, how can I remember the Lord? It is never possible actually. It is never, 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 never possible. Because if there are material desires, means that activities can never be dedicated to the Lord. For example, the same question which we discussed a couple of days back. How I should feel that there is a presence of the Lord so that I dedicate my work to Him. Again, through Guru Sadhu Shastra. We get answers to everything in Guru Sadhu Shastra. You don't have to do a separate endeavor or a separate effort. You just have to simply hear, simply understand the truth. Now the Lord is telling you, remember at the end of a couple of days back, we were discussing about Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara. We just read the translation. Now, how is that Krishna is a Bhokta? We see Krishna is assuring through fifth through eighth. Even in the eighth chapter, he assures again and again that this is my abode. From this is how the creation is happening. This is how I came. This is how I am the master. This is how I am the maintainer. Through me, everything is running. I'm driving this. I'm driving all of these things. So, what is Krishna is telling? Krishna is giving that faith through the words of his devotees. How do devotees get that conviction? Through following. Now, how are they following? Through Anusmarana, seeing from the previous acharyas, seeing through the life of the spiritual master. What are they doing? Because they are following. Let me follow, because if I follow, then this is actually pleasing the Lord, because this is not something out of box. Krishna is telling, if one wants to dedicate one activities to the Lord, the mind, intelligence will be fixed on me. Otherwise, the mind and intelligence is not fixed on me, then there is no question. That's what, na? Bali Maharaj, he submitted himself. What did he do? On one side, Shukracharya is telling, no, no, he is Vishnu only, you came. If you dedicate to him, he'll take away everything from you. What is that? Bali Maharaj said, that's good, na? If Lord Vishnu is coming and he'll take away everything, then let me dedicate to him. Because that is a greatest thing, na? Now, if I dedicate like that, then that is pleasing. It is pleasing the Lord. That is his desire. He is asking me to give that three steps. If he wants to take away everything from him, then I'm ready to accept. Because why? He's already in that mode of giving that charity. Because all of that thing is doing it for the pleasure of the Lord only, not for something else. There's no other endeavor. That means when Lord personally, that's why Lord came. Otherwise, why Lord would have come to him? Because he's already in that state. By the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, he already attained that state. because he's in the mood of giving only. So Lord was very happy with that. That's why Lord personally came. Now, in the moment he asked, he simply accepted. This is actually seeing the presence of the Lord at every moment. Because love, no? So much love. For example, if a person has a child, is very dear to him. He has a daughter, very dear. He loves his daughter so much. Now, wherever he is going, let's say if his daughter wears beautiful traditional attire, and then if he sees another girl of her daughter's age, he will immediately connect that girl to his daughter. Why? Out of love. He's connecting that girl also, that daughter also, because he's remembering by seeing that he doesn't know who that person is, but simply by seeing her, he's remembering his daughter. It's possible. How many times we have seen this example? But when the acharyas come, when they come into our life, what happens is they connect the dots. So what do? It's a clear indication. Na? The moment, see, please understand this, dear devotees, because he has a good relationship with this with that child. The moment he would see that girl, his heart becomes happy, doesn't he? Vice versa on the opposite side. If he has hatred towards his daughter or towards someone, if he has envy, then if he sees similar person or if he sees that person again, then his hate increases. He's already obstructed in his life. Now his life will become even more insane. Because on one side there is love, on the other side there is hate. Now through that hate, what is happening? His heart becomes heavy. But on the other side, his heart became happy because his heart is light now. The same way, Lord is actually telling us, giving us this understanding that you love me. Now, how does one love the Lord when and he knows his work, what he has done in our life? Even though these jivas which are there in this material world, they are all left out souls. We are all left out souls, dear devotees. Even for these left out souls, Lord gives so much. Or if you want to become controller, we can become controller here. If you want to become maintainer, we can become the maintainer here. If you want to become destroyer, we can become destroyer here. That means Lord is giving us opportunity to become whatever we want here in this material world, even though this is a left out batch. This is not the correct batch. Because this batch doesn't have love towards the Lord. But this batch has love towards his energy. Name, fame, profit, dhana, jana, sundari. Because this batch is like that. Because this batch doesn't have connection with the Lord. Because this batch wants to go away from the Lord. For that batch also, Lord is giving so much. Who will give like that? For example, if a person is very envious towards us, do we go and talk to him and then give everything and fulfill their needs, fulfill their desires? Do we do that? We don't even want to see them. Why? Because we don't like them to see. But the Lord is not like that. Our acharyas are not like that. They're ready to extend. We don't have a desire to serve them, but still they come and extend themselves. Why? This out of their love. Even though they might know there's nothing here, but still they come and then do the service. Why? Because they understand. Prabhupada, he knows completely rejection after rejection. Everyone is rejecting, but still Did he give up? No, he did not give up. He continued, knowing that he'll get another rejection. He continued. Because in that rejection also he's seeing the presence of the words of his spiritual master and the Lord. This is the beauty of the process. There's no rejection here. There's no dejection here. There's rejection, but there's no dejection through that. That rejection is also acceptance here. Because they're free from dualities. They're not part of this world. They're in this world, but they're not part of this world. Just like a elephant is being fed by the Lord every day in the forest, it will eat 100 kilos every day. The Lord is feeding her every day. Otherwise, there will not be one elephant also present in this world. But there are elephants. The Lord is feeding the elephants. There is so many whales, big whales in the ocean. Is a whale like hungry and dying through hunger? No. It has habitation. It has food. Who is giving them? The Lord. He is ensuring that everything is taken care. The whale is not starving in the water. It's a blue whale. Huge. It's like the size of a 10 school buses or even more. That big. It's in the ocean. It can only stay in the ocean. Cannot stay anywhere else, but it is being fed every day. Who's feeding? Who's feeding her? You know how many? There's so many whales like that in the ocean. Hare. The Lord is feeding. Lord is feeding every jiva. The Lord is feeding every jiva. Doesn't He feed us? Hare. Now, when the Lord gave us intelligence, we understand. Yes, to maintain something, we carry something. We carry out. That is helpful for us to maintain our life. For that, we don't have to do so many things in this world and then be absorbed in that. That is no brainer actually. Because through that activities, I cannot dedicate to the Lord. If I cannot dedicate to the Lord, I cannot remember Him. If I cannot remember Him, I cannot meditate Him. If I cannot meditate Him, how can I get the reciprocation from the Lord? Where do I have time? Our energy is completely taken away. And the same thing we teach to our dependents. Hare Krishna. This is what you should do, this is what you should do. In between you do this, in between you do that. And then that's about it. What about our acharyas? What about their sacrifices? Hare Krishna. What is that helping? What is that giving? I remember yesterday I was talking to this Vaishnava and he was actually sharing. Touching devotees is getting difficult these days. That's what he said. Because everyone has their own thing to do. They want to take whatever is congenial to them and then leave the rest. I said, that's a problem. Definitely, it's a problem. That means we are not understanding the truth completely. We are understanding up to certain point of time. We don't want to take it completely. Why is that happening? Nobody has a clue. Because people are thinking that this process of Krishna consciousness is not giving us happiness, but rather this process of Krishna consciousness is some kind of an insurance policy. No, it's not an insurance policy. So it's not an insurance policy where we get this, where we get that. It's a real shelter. Krishna Prem, love of God. Through the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, through the process of healing, we can actually attain that. We need to be careful with our consciousness. We need to avoid unnecessary things and then move forward. If we have that aspiration, then we will make a lot of progress. That's what the Prabhupada is mentioning here, right? If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna while he's struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. It's a very practical example, right? Srila Prabhupada is giving. For example, during the difficulties, if you are unable to remember the Lord, then do you think there is a scope of remembering the Lord at the time of death? You'll never remember. Because at the time of death, that is also another unavoidable situation. And through that situation, because we don't know whether we'll die or whether the doctor's operation will be successful. We don't know. We might die or we might get some more time to live. But eventually we have to die. But through that juncture, whether a person is going through an operation, he doesn't know whether he'll die or whether he'll remain alive. At that moment, do you think he'll remember about the Lord? Rather, he will remember how the operation should be successful. Rather, he's thinking about that only. No, consciously, what he will think, what is very dear to him, what is very dear to him is body only. For example, if there is constipation, for example, if there is vomiting, do we remember about the Lord at the time? We will try to figure out how this has to be, how this constipation or vomiting is stopped. Think that there is some problem in the body. But at that time, do you remember the Lord? It's a difficulty, na? At the difficulty, we are unable to remember the Lord. What is a guarantee that we'll be remembering the Lord at the time of the death? We will never remember the Lord because we have never dedicated anything to the Lord. I remember when Scripture stood like the whole purpose of giving Shravana every day, he told us to bring all of you to the plane of dedication. You should all dedicate your life to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, why? Why this discussion? Why this relationship? Why this coming together? He said there is no point in coming together. Yes, na, because if this relationship is not established, if this is established, then in the difficulties also you remember the Lord. But if this relationship is not established in the difficulties, we will never remember the Lord. For example, you're playing something and you're actually victorious in that. Let's say you're playing volleyball or cricket and you won. You won, right? Do you remember the Lord through that? We'll remember ourselves only. Because we played like that, we batted well, we fielded well. But if we are lost, then we'll say so many other reasons. Oh, that person did not do, this person did not do well. That's why we lost. No, we should have played like this. We should have played like that. But when we are victorious, we'll say like this. Why? Because we're so much absorbed on this consciousness of I and mine. So when this absorption is there, that deep, what happens there? What is when that absorption of I and my, when there is a problem to that I and my, do we ever remember the Lord? Are when there is no problem, only we are remembering I and me. During the difficulties, we will try to figure out that I and me and then try to come to that plane of I and me again, which is his body. But we will never understand that this I and me is there's no existence to this I and me, and then eventually I have to leave this body. Remember that. We always think about this, especially when the person is going through difficulties. But when I see certain devotees, through the difficulties, their devotion is increased. They are real devotees. When they have real difficulties in their life and then their devotion is increasing, they do not have complaints or questions or doubts in the process. Having a lot of people would have this doubt. Oh, what's going to happen to me if my health is not good? What's gonna happen to me if that is not good, this is not good? What's gonna happen to me? Because where is our focus or where is our concentration? Somewhere else. That means we are not remembering the Lord. This is a great problem actually. That's why everyone who comes to the process, they don't take it completely. They take whatever they want to take and then they go. That's the problem. Whoever feels that relationship only, they only will completely take this process. Otherwise, they will not take. That means every word of the Acharya they'll take, they'll think about it, they'll assimilate, they'll understand, they'll go deeper to that. Then they accept. Why Srila Prabhupada is telling, when there is difficulties, if the person is not taking the signs of Krishna consciousness, that means he will never take when he's about to leave his body. That is a fact actually. Because through the difficulties, he's trying to find a solution out of his endeavor, out of his understanding, because he's not depending. The about is this medicines or this or that, taking that course, this course, doing that meditation, this thing will not improve our life or will not improve our health. It is a Lord's sanction, it is Lord's prayers, it is Lord's mercy. It is our prayers and then the Lord's mercy. Through that mercy only we'll get an opportunity to use his body in his service. Otherwise, we will not get. Because even though if our health is skewed, still we will engage in that I and by. We will not engage in his service. That's the problem in this world. And this nobody will understand. It's difficult. Because this dedication which Lord is talking about is not a normal dedication. It's a dedication just like Arjuna dedicated, just like Srila Prabhupada dedicated. He's talking about that. That's what he's telling, right? With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without it. Those are the personalities who will go back and back to Godhead. I remember discussing this with a devotee who was practicing last year. Now the devotee continued for some days, but after that he dropped out. Why? And he wanted to continue from where he was hearing before. Why? Because over there they will not teach these things. They will tell थोड़ा करो, थोड़ा book distribution करो, थोड़ा ये करो, मौज मस्ती करो, and then go far. They like that of. They don't like doing dedication, doing devotion with through dedication. Because not everyone will come into this. Because some are looking for name, fame. Some wants to become president of the temple. Some wants to get a position. Some wants to, make another livelihood. So here those things we will not discuss. Here those we will not get the training for how to become a president. We will not get training for that. But we'll get a training how to become a devotee. They don't want to become that. That's why they don't want to continue. They will leave. So here advancement in Krishna consciousness means not that you become a president, not that you open up a temple, you'll come back to Godhead. This is what you should cultivate. What is it? Your activity should be dedicated to me. It means what dedication you have done. Did you give anything? Did you serve? Did you give your life? That is what is matters. That is what matters. Because through that only, because who will dedicate one life to somebody who is not, you're not seeing Krishna, but you have to dedicate to him. You're not seeing Srila Prabhupada, but you're seeing his words. You're seeing his followers. You have to dedicate to them. Wow, dedication is difficult. थोड़ा chanting करो here, उधर, इधर, उधर. थोड़ा reading करो. But dedication is not. Everything has to be done. I should do everything, all of my sense gratification, and then practice Krishna consciousness. Oh, काम नहीं करेगा. That will not work. That will not get. That will you'll, we will never get Krishna prime through that. Because what are we doing? We are putting it in both the boats. We have to practice this more and more. We should become more sincere. Otherwise, what is the point? No, everyone is doing sense gratification. Actually, the materialistic people are better than us because they're at least doing sense gratification. As far as we are na garka na ghatka, we're in between actually. We should either come to that side or we should go that side. Or in the middle right now. Because we cannot go back. Remember, spiritual master telling us. Now, after hearing all of this, you cannot go back because you know you'll get karmas, this, that, so many other things. But you can't take up the process fully also because you don't want to dedicate. We're in the middle. Prabhu said, he said, this is a difficult state, but we have to cross this difficult state. See, the cocoon to become a butterfly, the caterpillar becomes cocoon. That's a struggling state. Then later on, it becomes a butterfly. It has to go through that struggle, otherwise, it has to die. There's only two things for her to struggle or die. Yeah, he will go through that struggle to get a better livelihood. Then he becomes a butterfly. Because for us, actually, it's a blessing if we are kept in that state. What state? Take Krishna consciousness or die. That state should come into our life. We pray for that state. Nobody will pray like that. What, Prabhu, what are you telling? You cannot pray like that. What do you mean? That's why the desire is important here. You know what Shravana will do? Will chant, transform your desires. We don't want to cultivate that attitude because that will never give anything actually. This science of Krishna consciousness only will give you satisfaction. Now you can say, Prabhu, everyone will tell this only. Actually, Prabhupada was being told once, was being asked, oh, Swamiji, you always tell like this. This is the best, this is the best. But every religion person, they all also tell this. Prabhupada says, you at least take something now. You take that fully, then you'll understand what it is. You you take something here, something there, something here, something there. That means you're not taking anything. Prabhupada becomes sincere. You see, Srila Prabhupada classes are always short, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but they are very profound. Do you see any Srila Prabhupada's class without the word called surrender? Do you see any of his classes without the word called submit yourself or dedicate your life? Do you see any class without those things? No. Why? Because this is important. Now, we discuss everything other than that. What is that Krishna consciousness? We want to discuss all the pastimes, all the stories, but we don't want to discuss this. That's why I feel so fortunate to have wonderful spiritual master in my life. Well, without his presence, we don't know what this Krishna consciousness is. Why Srila Prabhupada struggled so much. Why he faced all those things. We'll never be able to understand all those things. Even though his wife was not supportive, his family was not supportive, his relatives were not supportive. When the relatives were coming to the home of Srila Prabhupada was actually speaking to them about Krishna consciousness. Then his wife and others, they were actually stopping him. No, don't speak. His father-in-law, they were stopping him. Should not speak. Why you are always speaking Krishna, Krishna, Krishna? But he never gave up because his life was that. Hare. We'll stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Would like to share anything? Please share. We'll continue. Sorry, yesterday I couldn't put a message in the group. Please excuse me about my incapabilities. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, please, and it's all good. Thank you
Gopal
so much.
Prabhu,
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you so much for being all your wonderful favor, even though one day also you're looking. So we have to take this very seriously. At least 1% of what you say every day. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. In the next discussion, Arjuna is telling, "Oh, my dear Lord, the process which you are teaching looks very impractical to me because my mind is very restless." A very honest answer. If Arjuna's mind is restless, I would never think that our mind is okay. Mind is so restless. Through the restless mind, how can we see the Lord? How can we see the presence of Him? It's difficult, but we should continue our hearing to develop deep relationship because this is the only ray of hope in our life. If you're sincerely connecting to this process more, this is the only happiness there about this. I know nobody is happy in this world. No one is happy. People are thinking that sense gratification will give some happiness or some money will give some happiness. Nobody heard about this. That's a that's a illusory state. Our mind will make us happy. No, mind will never make us happy. Arjuna is telling my mind is restless. What about us? Now he is telling whatever you're saying is impractical. That is why after this only Krishna proclaims about the importance of relationship. Because sixth chapter Arjuna is concluding this all is impractical. Because what is the sixth chapter? Dhyana Yoga. If Dhyana Yoga is impractical to Arjuna, will that be practical to us? 5,000 years ago, Arjuna, he can actually hit in the blind. That means in the dark also he can hit his destination. That means he can see in the dark. Now that kind of a personality, he's telling my mind is restless. This is what Srila Prabhupada says actually. Prabhupada says, Are Arjuna is such an exalted Vaishnava, he is telling us this is impractical. How can we do this, dhyana? That's why through dedication only one can actually curb this mind. You should see those personalities who are dedicated. Then we should surrender it all. Very important. I remember my spiritual master telling, if you are not surrendering, you will not progress. Also, he told us many years back. The sooner you realize, the better it is for you. That's what he told. If you don't realize this soon, you'll be ruined in the process of Krishna consciousness. In the name of Krishna consciousness, people become mad. Why? Because they don't understand the science nicely. But if Arjuna was confused, don't we think that we'll be confused? We will be confused. You see, we'll discuss chapter 1. You'll see how Arjuna is actually confused. Because in every action, he's seeing himself only, which the entire material world does. That's why nobody's happy here. Why am I telling that nobody's happy here? Because no one is connected to him. See, there are unlimited other ways to get some kind of happiness in this world, but the real connection is only coming through Krishna and his representatives. But nobody wants to come to that state because I am aham mameti. That's why Krishna is telling Maya Sakta Manav. After this only Krishna comes to that plane. After dhyana only, Krishna comes to the plane of the chapter of knowledge of the absolute truth. Now, how is the knowledge of the absolute truth coming? Through relationship. That's why in the first shloka itself, Krishna is telling, you cultivate asakti on me through process of hearing. Touch Shravan. Hear attentively. See sloka number 7, chapter number 7, sloka number 1 is telling, Tashchurani, remember me, remember. Now, who will remember him? If we have a relationship, we'll remember, na? Otherwise, what we will discuss? We cannot understand anything in the science. See, mere knowledge will not help, dear devotees. The knowledge has to be realized. The realized knowledge will come to a realized soul. That's what Krishna is saying. Maya Shakta Manaparthayum Junjum Rasam Swayam Shaman. That means all the doubts will be dissipated. I remember Krishna was telling many days back. He's told doubts are like demons. You should curb those doubts immediately. That's why Arjuna is very practical. That's his doubt. Are this is very impractical to me. Krishna, you're telling dhyana, you should meditate, you should sit straight, you should see the tip of the nose, close your eyes, not completely, half close. This is dhyana, part of dhyana yoga. Arjuna says, I can't do this. A lot of people will say, oh, Arjuna is a fool. Arjuna is not a fool. Arjuna is a great soul. Arjuna is a fool. That's why he cannot meditate. But you are better than Arjuna. If you are thinking that you're better than Arjuna, that itself is a false ego. See how mind tricks. That's why people stick to the dhyana yoga process because they feel that that is good. They will not come to chapter 7 because chapter 7 actually speaks. That's where the devotion begins. Knowledge of the absolute. Hare Krishna. I think I took up more time. I'll stop here. Anyone else would like to add anything? Otherwise, we'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice seeing you, Mataji, in video. Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji also. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I'll
Yes.
stop here.
Yes.
Yes, you're saying something. Please continue.
So it's hearing actually helping so much, Prabhuji, in my life also. It's helping me. And Prabhuji, Krishna reciprocates with, like, if the devotee really wants genuinely, as you mentioned always, Guru's mercy always reciprocates, Prabhuji. And it's sometimes I feel that, Prabhuji. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And as you said about this gap, like, because I have material attachments, so said you, when you said like 2 hours we are doing something not related to Krishna consciousness, but it's not for me. It's not 2 hours, Prabhuji, because I go to work every day. So it's like, but I'm trying, Prabhuji, my best to utilize my time wisely. But your mercy is required, Prabhuji. Your prayers is important.
My prayers are best wishes for you. My prayers are always because my prayer is if you all come to that pure devotion service, do service purely without any motive, without any ulterior alternative. If you all do that, then I'll be very happy.
Yes, Prabhu. And also with this association every day, Prabhuji, I now it's like every time I'm thinking like the time is flying. That like whenever doing something else, I'm feeling like it's just waste of time, just waste of time because
Correct.
I don't know when I'll die. So that's what I'm now. It's all those thoughts are coming. So which is good, good, very good. I feel.
Actually, it is an illusory state. We are kept in an illusory state. Please understand this. And it will now you're actually thinking that it's a waste of time. That's actually a good realization. But we need to see if we have some ample amount of money to maintain our existence, we should come to the plane of retirement, and then practice fully, dedicate your life. Because we have like 15, 20 years more. If at least 10 years we can dedicatedly serve, do some service for the pleasure of the spiritual master, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, that's actually a jackpot in your life. Because now I'm 41. If I did some service for like next 20 years, that's a jackpot for me. So we should think. We should actually think. Please don't think what the people will say, what this will do, what that will do. The intuition, because you will leave alone. You came alone, you leave alone. You have to figure out everything by yourself. When you are in the mother's room, you actually figured out how to eat. Nobody was telling you. But Krishna is sitting in your heart at that time. He told you, you eat like this. That's what we did. And then after coming out of the mother's womb also, oh, it's a mercy of the Lord because he's sitting in that, you cry now. He's telling, and you cry. And the mother will come and feed. You sleep now, it's time to sleep. You sleep. No, no doubt it's doing by the material nature, but it's actually driven by the Lord only. That means we deal only with the Lord here. That means when we are dealing only with the Lord, if we do some service to Him, don't you think how much reciprocation He'll give you back to you? He'll give it back to you? It's unimaginable. We should remember. We should understand. I'll tell something. One time, the Prabhuji was asking his wife, the devotee, I've done all of this to you now. Now, can I retire and then do some service? Then she immediately said, क्या किया अब तक ना? कुछ नहीं किया. What you did up until now? You did not do anything. How come you tell me that you'll retire? So the material nature will pull. It's the nature of this world. It will pull. But we should have some options. Otherwise, you see, waiting for something, doing this, doing that, it's a problem. Anything which you're waiting for materially, it's a problem. That means what is doing it is postponing our work. It is postponing our duties, our prescribed duties. Krishna never said that give up your work. Krishna said that you do it for me. We should figure out a way how we should do it for the pleasure of the Lord. That is a perfection in our life. It's very important. We don't want to die left out in an unknown country. We want to die in the midst of devotees. Very important. If we have to die in the midst of devotees, that means if we do service in the midst of devotees, then we have a relationship with them. So through that relationship, we leave the body. I remember so many devotees when they dedicate their life and then serve at our community. They're so joyful. They're experiencing bliss, practicing Krishna consciousness. Because a practical platform we should have. If you have a practical platform, then what happens? Then things will manifest. I see so many devotees dedicating very, very sincerely their life. Because it's very practical. But what Krishna is telling here, with your activities dedicated to me. So beautiful. If we feel Krishna is our father, how much time it will take us to dedicate to him? Srila Prabhupada told this, right? Srila Prabhupada was been asked, oh Swamiji, we are very sinful. Can we give up all our sinful activities in this life? Prabhupada says, in this very moment, if you dedicate your life and come to the place of surrender. I remember our spiritual master, yes, he has a beautiful platform for every devotee. But the problem is, devotees do not have that deep desire. Some devotees, the devotees who are at the community, they have the desire. But other devotees, if they have desire more, then we'll do great service. That is the whole idea. No? That is the whole idea. What is the point? See, the point is to remember the Lord. Now, how do we remember the Lord? We will remember the Lord when we have that kind of a platform. For example, you go to the office. They'll tell, what did you cook? I bought I bought turkey. What did you bought? What inspiration we get through that? You know what? I purchased another single family home. You should also try. This is a new community in Tampa. Please check it out. That's good. It's a decent place. What is that giving? We should see when you are in the midst of that kind of people who are actually so much absorbed in this material world, then we also tend to do in that one, in that way only. We also tend to practice Krishna consciousness in that way only, through that lens only. I'm not telling that is bad, because that's how it is. If you're there in that kind of situation, that's what you get. The speaker also right after the class he'll tell, you know what, उधर भी अच्छा है community. चलो उधर घर लेंगे, 5 साल के बाद अच्छा प्राइस मिलेगा. The person is also telling like that. That is what did he discuss until now? Oh, why that person will also say, "Arey, yeah, we should dedicate our life." Then what is this after this? So it's a dualism. That means dualism is prevalent in the moment also. To come out of that dualism, we should have sincere souls in our life. No, we should hear, we should understand, we should follow their words. They give us services, nice services. And then through those services, we'll make a lot of progress. Because what are we doing? We are spending our time in the midst of devotees only. In our community, it's a very beautiful setup. If you want to purchase vegetables, you have a devotee store. If you want to buy something like some snacks, you have a devotee shop. If you want to get some fresh vegetables, there's a farm community where you get fresh vegetables. If you want to get some milk, fresh milk, you get fresh milk from the community. And then there are devotees based on Varna. They are Varnash and Ashram. This Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Who have the Brahminical qualities, they do teaching, they serve in that way. For Kshatriya mentality, they take care of the community. Your Vaishya, they do some merchandise business, they take care of they have the shop. And then the rest they serve. So beautiful. And then through this setup, what is happening? Our children are taken care through the schools, elderly people are taken care through the community, Brahmanas are also taken care, cows are also taken care. That means everything is being taken care through what? Through Bhagavad Dharma. That is the essence. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. Simple living, I think. How is simple living coming? Say, how is simple living coming? When we leave our complex mind, then simple living comes. You remember I gave this example, right? Difference between a need and a want. We discussed about the 6 month rank also. The need and the want is very important. If that is rightly established, if we know what is needed, I remember my spiritual master said, "Oh, if you have 50,000 rupees, you can sustain in the community." He said, "Yeah, I have to choose that arrangement where I'm getting between 50 to 1 lakh. And then if that is coming, then it's good. It's more than enough." The practical also we should see. If we can maintain that, that's very good. Then do service. Hare Krishna. Which can be done. So that's how slowly, if we dedicate the life more and more, Prabhupada will be very happy. He'll be pleased. And through that, if difficulties are coming, still we depend more. And then through the difficulties, again, we take more and more shelter. And we move forward. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I think I'll stop. I know there is nobody at our home. That's why I'm just continuing, because they all went to the farm. I'm just at home. So trying to do some contemplation, want to stay alone for some time. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, thank
Please
you so very much, Prabhu. As you said, spiritual master, he comes to and connects the dots. Now, if we take a topic or we try to contemplate, okay, this is because of. Ultimately, it goes through to the point where attentive listening, Shravana, sincere Shravana, and that Shravana is the key for everything, Prabhu. Thank you so very much, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. We'll stop here. Karina, you there? Can you? Not sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanava Pranama,
Please
Guru Krishna,
continue. Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Thank you everyone for joining, for letting me